Happy Friday, everybody. How you guys doing? By the way, welcome back, Jesse. Jesse Holland with us. Patrick Sweetser, you guys got some big plans for the weekend?
Sleeping.
I'm going to be working a lot.
Yeah.
All that good stuff.
That's good.
Yes, sir.
All right. Welcome to my radio show. I'm Rick Garcia. You're listening to us on AM 1220 and 98.1 FM and watching us on Facebook Live at KHTS Radio. And we have, like to always say hello to our Facebook friends there. You got to wave to them, Jesse, and say,
Hi,
Facebook. They're watching us live at KHTS Radio. And you can also find my radio show on YouTube, the My Radio Show podcast on your KHTS Radio app or at hometownstation.com. If you want to call and participate and be part of the show the old-fashioned way, you can call us at 661-298-5487. Time for my headlines. And my headlines, they're brought to you by Frontier Toyota. The LA City Council unanimously approved a resolution to urge Major League Baseball to strip 2017 and 2018 World Series titles from the Houston Astros and Boston Red Sox, awarding them to the Dodgers. The Astros were found guilty of using cameras to steal signs. The Red Sox under investigation for the same reason. LeBron James and Anthony Davis were named starters for next month's All-Star game in Chicago. LeBron celebrated with a triple-double in Brooklyn as the Lakers beat the Nets 128-113. Lakers are in Philly tomorrow night, 5:30 tip-off on Spectrum Sportsnet. On Wednesday, the Clippers blew a 21-point lead and lost to the Atlanta Hawks 102-95. Kawhi Leonard rested. Paul George and Patrick Beverley also sat out with a sore hamstring and groin injury. Clippers are at Miami tonight, 5 p.m. tip-off on Fox Sports Prime Ticket. And Chargers quarterback Phillip Rivers has moved permanently from San Diego to Florida to be closer to his family. The free agent said, quote, "What this means for football-wise is to be determined." Super Bowl Sunday, a week from this Sunday, the Kansas City Chiefs are slight favorites over the San Francisco 49ers in Super Bowl 54, that game to be played in Miami. That is the My Radio Show hotline. And this man had 35 career sacks during 12 NFL seasons on the defensive line for the Detroit Lions, the Kansas City Chiefs, and the Seattle Seahawks. He played in the 95 Pro Bowl and was All-Pro in 1990. Ladies and gentlemen, the pride of National City and Arizona State, Dan Saleaumua. Welcome.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Rick?
Yes.
Rick.
Yes.
So they're going to take away Houston's World Series? Is that what you just said?
No, the LA City Council voted that they want Major League Baseball to take away the World Series from Houston and Boston. But you know that's not going to happen.
Well, I'm just saying, where I came from and the people around me, that I learned if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying.
Uh-oh.
So I still don't understand why would they vote on something that has been preached since we played Little League. I don't get it.
Let me reintroduce you. Kansas City Royals star. He played first base and batted .300. Dan Saleaumua, ladies and gentlemen.
What's up, Rick?
Yeah, we're going to talk baseball. So we invited you.
No. I'm listening to your all the headlines. I'm like going, what?
Yeah.
They don't know about Marty Ball. If you ain't cheating, you ain't trying.
Boy, here we go. All right, listen.
I'm just saying, I'm happy.
Yes. All right, you played with Kansas City from 1989 to 1996. Are you excited to see the Chiefs in the Super Bowl?
Yeah, man. I've heard back from so many former players, and the beauty of this whole thing was, like I said, my whole storyline this past weekend was the Lamar Hunt Trophy and how it stayed in Arrowhead, and I just know how Mr. Hunt was, and the son was there and his wife was still there, but I just know that I've never met a man so generous with time. Just an average person just came up, said hello to you, and he was the owner of the Kansas City Chiefs. And like I said, I'm hearing more from former players. Are you going to go? I said, you got $1,700 a ticket? I said, then I guess I'm not going.
Okay.
But I'm just saying, Rick, it's like I'm fired up for the city. I'm fired up for, Kansas City, period. But like I said, I think it's going to be awesome, Rick.
Well, listen, I'm leaning toward the 49ers in this one, but you told me that it's going to be the Chiefs. Tell me why.
Well, again, I'm not being biased enough, Rick. I'm just watching what I saw Now, I'm just telling you, go back 2 weeks, Rick, on both two teams. The 2 games that they played, what the 49ers did, they ran the ball. And, Green Bay had no answer for that. How do we stop them? And then you go back and then you look at the AFC side and you see what Kansas City did. And the one thing that I took away from both of those games for those 2 series was they have no fear. The Kansas City Chiefs had no fear of Rick. They were down 24-0. No panic. They were down 17-0. No panic. When you got a team playing like that, I mean, again, I'm not showing favoritism, Rick. I'm just telling you what I saw.
Yeah.
And if San Francisco, because like I said, what was one of the topics was he's only thrown the ball 8 times.
Yeah.
Garoppolo. Rick, what happens when the Chiefs get on top? Because evidently, you taking the lead, it didn't matter. I'm just going off what I saw, and I'm like going, oh shoot, they talked about this defense, that defense.
Yeah. Well,
the best way I heard it was like they said, Kansas City Chiefs, they got nothing but a Olympic track team. That's how fast they are.
I get that, but you know what? The Chiefs don't run very well, Dan.
Okay, but whoa. Remember, speed. No, watch this, Rick.
Yeah.
When you run, you eating up the clock, Rick.
Right.
The ball travels faster than you run. So I don't understand why you need to run the ball when you can still get the ball in the end zone.
Okay.
Hey, but if it's working, because the one thing that they talked about, the guy from Tennessee, the big running back Henry, he had 192, he had 185 the first 2 playoff games. Okay, but they were never in the lead. I mean, they were never threatened with somebody taking the lead.
Right.
And when they jumped up on them with 17-0, and you're looking at your bet, I'm in Hawaii watching this game, Rick, and everybody in Tennessee side's fired up. But I go, okay, your turn. How are you gonna answer that? That's the question.
Right.
Because if Garoppolo gets down, Rick, let's just say 17-0, and they did all that in the first quarter. Okay, so what do you do now that Kansas City comes back, bang, bang, bang? Oh, yeah, pin your ears back, Rick. Pin your ears back. They got a great defense. Oh, yes. But, Rick, that kid has been throwing, if you're going to go play man-to-man, he's going to run on them. I'm just saying, Rick, look at both sides. Look at the last 2 games, not the season, what they did to the last 2 games. Like, yeah, I'm not being biased, Rick. I'm just trying to be honest.
Okay.
What I see was, oh, my God. Yeah. You got a great defense. Okay.
All right.
So did the other 2 teams. But they talked about the running game, Rick. What happens when the running game is not scoring points, but chopping up the clock?
Well, that happened to Baltimore. We saw former Kansas City Chiefs defensive lineman Dan Saleaumua is on my radio show. You were drafted in 1987 out of ASU by the Detroit Lions. All right, so the Lions drafted you. Okay, back then, the Lions were awful. And I remember it was tough on you playing as a rookie back in those days. I think you even told me it was tough to walk around the city. I mean, you would have thought you could be proud being an NFL player, but it was a rough time to be a Lion, wasn't it?
Well, yeah, because remember the Pistons, back in the 80s, they had the bad boys. So how do you compete with the Detroit Pistons, where back then we both played in the Silverdome? So they would take, when the basketball season started back in October, I mean, the whole city went crazy for the Detroit Pistons. Isaiah Thomas, Joe Dumars, Sally, Rick Mahorn, Bill Laimbeer. So when you got that kind of competition, why are you even worried about the Lions? The only thing I learned about the Lions is, oh, my God, we get to play on Thanksgiving Day. Thank you.
Free turkey.
Free turkey. All right. Everybody gets free food, bro.
Now, here's the good news. The Chiefs signed you as a free agent in 1989. You play there for...
No, they didn't.
Weren't you your Plan B free agent?
That was the first version of free agency.
Got it.
They called it Plan B.
Okay.
Basically what they're doing is, out of the 53 players, 20 of you guys get to go find a new job. But the other 33, you're still under contract. You got to stay with the team. So that was their version of free agent. And remember, back in the 80s, Rick, the only guaranteed money that an NFL player would get was a signing bonus.
Right.
Not this guaranteed contracts, like they have for these rookies now.
Yeah.
No. So back then, Rick, it was the starting of the churning of how this whole NFL league was going to grow. Because back then, Rick, in 1980, it was a one-day draft, Rick, and they had 12 rounds. You look at it now, it's a 3-day event.
Right.
And
TV
only
and everything.
First round. Oh, yeah, TV,
Sure.
commercials. Yeah. Now cities are bidding to host it, Rick. I'm just telling you, Rick, I was fortunate to get a piece of that pie on my way out.
Yeah.
But I looked at it now with the whole thing. It's just a money-making machine.
You played 8 seasons in KC. You went to the playoffs 7 times, including an AFC championship in '93. Your teammates on those defenses included the late, great Derek Thomas and Neil Smith. Your coach was Marty Schottenheimer. What were those years like?
Again, when you're winning, it doesn't matter. But like I said, in that locker room, we were taught, that's why I said, it's for Marty Schottenheimer.
Be careful.
Well, no.
I'm trying to save an old buddy. Be careful.
We're trying to. No, Rick. No, it's nothing bad.
Yeah.
But it kind of the way in this business in the NFL, you got to win, Rick. That's how they.
Sure.
And
you guys did.
That's the only way they look at it.
You guys did win.
But that's one of our ways was, one of our mantras. If you ain't cheating, you ain't trying. Not. But look at it the way how we looked at it. We look for edges. We look for tells. Stuff like that.
Yeah, that's good cheating.
We're not just studying, but I'm just saying, we're not studying just formation. We're looking at guys' knees or watch his foot. Look at his, watch his right hand. I mean, it was crazy some of the stuff that we would look for, but then when you saw it in the game, in the game, you just knew how to react to it. So like I said, Derek Thomas, Dale Carter, James Hasty, we had a bunch of guys, back then at the defense, and like I said, it was. Now, Rick, I've been fortunate. I've been grateful for the opportunity they gave me over there. Like I said, Rick, come on, man, you know better than that. I was going to be a brain surgeon.
That's what I thought. Yeah, but we knew that wasn't going to work out, didn't we?
All right,
Rick. All right, yes.
Somebody, wait. Before I can get my my doctoral license, I got an opportunity. Opportunities come whenever they show up, and like I said, Rick. Me and you know each other from Arizona.
Yep.
And then you ran off to L.A. somewhere.
Okay, now listen. Hey, do you mind if I ask the questions on this show? It's called My Radio Show with Rick Garcia. Now we're talking to former Kansas City. Wait, let me just get a question in. Former Kansas City Chiefs defensive lineman Dan Saleaumua is on My Radio Show. You used to tell me that Marty Schottenheimer, your coach, gave some great speeches, but then he would cry sometimes. Is that right?
Yes, he was emotional, Rick. He was emotional. When you're winning, Rick, I'm telling you, back in the '90s, it's hard to how you say, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, Rick. And some of these games that we played in, they're heartbreakers, but at least we were like how you say, we were legitimate, though, Rick. We weren't a maybe, hopefully, no, we were legitimate. And like I said, when it was all over, it was kind of like, how do you decompress from all that stuff? Because like I said, I learned early, enjoy your game while you're in it, because sooner or later you will be out.
It's short. Listen,
you're going to be gone.
I want to play a little game with you. We call it True or False, and the reason we do this is so we can just hear me out. This is so we can get in more questions, and then all you got to do, I'm going to ask you a question, and then you're going to answer true or false, and then I have some more questions to ask you. But right now, let's play some True False. You ready to play? All right, Patrick, you got the buzzer ready and the bell ready? Okay.
Yes, sir.
True or false? The day that you and I met at Arizona State, I was a reporter, you the football player. You did an impression of Elvis Presley during our interview. True or false?
False.
No, that's true.
That's
You're
lie.
wrong. No. You did an impression of Elvis Presley.
Oh my God.
It's on tape. Don't make me get the tape. Don't give me.
Okay. He ain't got no tape.
Next, listen.
You got a VHS player?
You already.
VHS don't even work no more.
Listen.
Next question.
You already broke the rules. All right. Next question. True or false? True or false? You played with both Joe Montana and Marcus Allen while with the Kansas City Chiefs.
True.
That is true. That's right. You got that right. Yeah, you don't win anything, by the way. True or false? True or false? Now, true or false?
It's my turn to hit. Oh man, I got to go hit the ball now.
No, don't hit the ball. True or false? You once told me Rich Gannon was the best quarterback you ever played with.
That's true.
That's true. That's right. You told me you were a big fan. Yeah. All right. Listen, true or false? True or false? Wait, we only got 2 more of these. True or false? You had 17 fumble recoveries while with Kansas City, which, by the way, is still a team record. Is that true or false?
That's false.
True.
Ooh. No, it's 18.
What?
How 18.
Many? No, not according to Wikipedia. It's true. So
no.
You're
Don't
wrong.
go to Wikipedia.
You're wrong. All right.
You gotta go to Arrowhead.
I know.
Don't go to Wikipedia.
All right. 17. Congratulations. Okay. Next one. True or false? True or false? You had 3 interceptions as an NFL defensive lineman.
True.
That is true. Give him a ding on that.
Hold on.
Which isn't bad for.
Who started that?
Who?
You know who started that? Bill Cowher.
Yeah.
Bill Cowher was a defensive coordinator back in 1989 in Kansas City Chiefs.
Okay.
So there's a real fast. So offensive period. So there's a scout team. Anyways, okay, we need some linebackers. So I just went in and jumped in and played linebacker, goofing around with it. Bill Cowher comes up to me and says, "Hey, Saleaumua, you ever play linebacker?" And I said, "No." So he goes, "We're playing Denver." The guy's on the shoot. So he goes, "We're gonna call this called nose drop, where act like you play the run, but when you drop, drop into coverage and get to the hash and just look for the tight end." The first time we call it, sure enough, they tipped the ball. I intercepted, Rick. Ran 20 yards and got nailed on the side. But the beauty of this, Rick, is that I was so excited that it worked. I jump up in the air and they caught me, Rick. Like, "Dan Saleaumua, you got an interception." I was saying to myself, "Yeah, but I got knocked out."
Yeah. Hey, by the way, what was your play? Now you dropped back into coverage, and what was your playing height and weight in those days? I know, but go ahead. Let's see if you're going to be honest. Because it's very impressive that you dropped back into coverage. What are the numbers?
Wait. You understand that? Bill Cowher started that stuff.
I know that.
Nobody was doing stuff like that, but Bill Cowher goes, "Hey, Saleaumua." No. I was 6'1", 315.
315, that's right.
Wow.
Think about that. Guy dropping back into coverage, 315 pounds. I remember when you were telling me you were doing that. Oh, my God.
Wow.
All right, true or false? This is your last true or false question. Let's see if you can get it right. Once during, I have more questions, but this is the last of true and false. Once during an interview that I did with The Rock, Dwayne Johnson, he told me to tell you hello. Hello?
Wait a minute. The Rock told you to tell me hello?
Yes.
Are you sure it wasn't?
True or false?
Wait. Are you sure it wasn't?
There are only
Dan was talking to The Rock.
There were only two. There are only 2 choices here. There are only 2 choices here. True or false?
Are you sure it was you talking to The Rock? Or
it was me interviewing The Rock, Dwayne Johnson.
I'm telling you, Rick.
True or false?
I talked to The Rock.
All right,
That's
never
what
mind.
I said. Are you playing me?
Give him a buzzer. Yeah, you get a buzzer on that one. Forget it.
Wait a minute.
The truth is,
you tell me I can't talk to The Rock and then say, "Hey, what's
that
up?"
That wasn't the question.
You're saying.
By the way, you are cheating now. You're doing exactly what you were taught. You were cheating.
Rick, I am trying.
All right.
So that's a nice way to say it. "Oh my God, Dan, you are trying hard, Dan."
No, true story.
I gotta go finish this game.
No. We got one more question here. One more question. Jesse, Patrick, I want to tell you.
Hold on.
Oh my God.
They're waving at me.
No. I got one more question.
No, don't wait. I'm gonna be okay.
So
Wait a minute. Hold up.
I'm interviewing. You go and hit your ball. Okay, hit your ball.
No, because we got to get back in the car.
Okay, so then let me just finish here. I'm interviewing The Rock, Dwayne Johnson, who happens to be his mother Samoan.
Yeah.
His father, African-American Rocky Johnson, a great wrestler.
Right.
And I bring up my buddy Dan Saleaumua. He goes, "Oh, my gosh, I love Dan. Tell him I said hello." And I called you on the phone after the interview. I said, "Hey, The Rock wants me to tell you hello." And it was, all right, forget. Who cares anymore? This is my last question.
Wait,
I'm not waiting. This is my show.
Wait. So in Seattle, the assistant strength coach is good friends with Dwayne Johnson. So he calls the coach, and I happen to be in the room with him, and he starts talking, and he goes, "Hey, Dan, do you know who Dwayne Johnson is?" I go, "Yeah, right, the wrestler." And he goes, "You want to say hi to him?" That's what I thought he was talking about, Rick. That's what I was like going, "Are you sure you talked to him, or was it when I talked to him?"
Okay. So listen, do you have time for 2 more questions, or do you have?
No.
Because he's doing something important. He's playing golf. I want to point out that's my buddy, by the way.
Listen, on the Chiefs. I'm just saying, everybody. The one point, don't believe it, Rick. Don't believe it, Rick. this is going to be an exciting Super Bowl because, Rick, the only thing that reminds me of the no-huddle offense, the Buffalo Bills back in the 90s. Because the way they were putting the points back there.
Yeah, they lost all those Super Bowls too, didn't they?
Wait. I said, reminds me the way the offense. I just say, wait a minute. How can you compare?
You did it. You brought up the Bills. I didn't bring up the Bills.
No. I'm talking about the way they scored, Rick, so fast. But I'm just saying, but here's the difference.
Yeah.
It's not a no-huddle. This guy just, he slings the ball left and right.
Yeah.
But he gets the ball out of his hands so fast.
You're talking about Mahomes, Patrick Mahomes, yeah.
Yes, man.
All right. So your final prediction is Kansas City. Do they win big, or is it going to be a close game?
No, Chiefs going to win by 10.
Wow.
Ooh. That's why I said don't. Rick, don't. I'm just telling you, just go off what they did last.
Yeah.
Like Janet Jackson, what have you done for me lately? Look at that video, Rick.
By the way, that's Mr. By the way, that's Mr. Garcia. If you're nasty.
Oh,
what?
Now it's Mr. Garcia.
If you're nasty. All right. That's it. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, former Kansas City Chiefs defensive lineman and a longtime dear friend, as you can tell, sort of, Dan Saleaumua.
Go Chiefs!
All right. Thanks, Dan. We appreciate that. Whew, I think we need a timeout, don't you guys think?
Yeah.
Coming up, the Kansas City Chiefs bet that cost one guy $2 million. Plus, look out below where it's raining iguanas. Plus, we're giving away free stuff. You're listening to My Radio Show with Rick Garcia. Welcome back to My Radio Show. I'm Rick Garcia. If you want to be part of the show, you can call us at, what's the phone number again, Patrick? Where's the sign for the phone number? People want to call us. Where'd you put the sign, for goodness sake? You don't know the number either, do you?
Not by heart.
Yeah. Okay. 661-298-5487 if you have any questions about what we're talking about. You can post us on Facebook Live at KHTS Radio. Time for Rick's Replay.
Rick's Replay.
The Lakers were in Brooklyn last night. LeBron James had 27 points, 12 rebounds, and 10 assists for his 10th triple-double of the season with 33,626 points. LeBron is now 17 points behind Kobe Bryant for third place on the NBA's career scoring list. The Lakers also had a season-high 19 three-pointers last night. They beat the Nets 128-113.
News to me.
You guys heard about this guy, Mattress Mac? He's a bettor. Let me put it this way. He's a mattress salesman who kind of does corny ads in Texas, in the state of Texas. One of those guys. Hey, get your mattress here. But he also loves to bet. And so he's lost $2 million betting on the Chiefs the last two playoff games, right? He lost nearly $12 million last year betting on the Astros to win the World Series. Back in 2017, when they did win the World Series, he won a lot of money. So he had two bets, $1 million when Houston played Kansas City. He bet against the Chiefs, and again when they played the Tennessee Titans in the AFC Championship, he dropped another $1 million. So he's down $2 million. Can you believe that?
I just can't believe being like that hardcore of a fan that I'd put that much money on the line.
You have to. It has to be money you can burn, right? I mean, you just can't.
I wouldn't know what that is. Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, if you have $2 million to burn, go with it.
I guess so.
I wouldn't do it though.
I like this story. Cardinals wide receiver Larry Fitzgerald, one of the best wide receivers in all of football, has bought shares of the Phoenix Suns of the NBA. He joins Green Bay Packers quarterback Aaron Rodgers, who purchased a stake in the Milwaukee Bucks in 2018 as the only NFL players who are partial owners of NBA teams. Jesse, if you were to buy interest in a team, speaking of money to burn, it's not really money to burn. This is an investment.
Yeah.
What team would you purchase?
Probably like the U.S. Women's National Soccer team.
Yeah. Well, that's a problem. It's an amateur team, right? I guess you could support them and invest, but you couldn't own part of them, right?
So if I were to own, probably the Dodgers. I mean,
that would be a good one. How about you, Patrick?
Surprisingly enough, it wouldn't be the Seahawks. It wouldn't be them. I would go for the Lakers.
Lakers.
I mean, that's just a historic franchise.
I think for me, it would be the Rams. I'd like if I had a piece of a team, it would be the LA Rams. That would be the team that I would purchase. So these guys they'll probably all dreamed of being NFL players, which I had the same dream. I thought it would be fun to play in the NFL. But for me, the next best thing would have been to own a part of the team.
Yeah.
So that's kind of cool. All right. Do you have our special music?
Our special.
Do you know which one I'm talking about? Oh, my gosh. What? Really?
Raining Man.
Okay, Patrick, I knew I could count on you. Okay, so this next story isn't about raining men.
Dang it.
Sorry, Jesse.
Dang it.
It's about raining iguanas. This is a true story. In Florida, the temperatures have gotten so cold. It's been in the 30s and 40s, which is cold for Florida.
That is cold.
That the iguanas that live there have been basically going comatose and falling out of trees.
Oh.
Yeah. Now they don't die. They don't die, and eventually, when they thaw out, they wake up. But officials there, the National Weather Service, is warning people beware of falling iguanas. Because think about it, a male iguana can get up to 5 feet long and weigh 20 pounds. So crank the music up.
And we're only got like a little bit left of it.
All right.
Wasn't a long one.
It's not raining men. Again, relax, Jesse. It is raining iguanas.
Why am I here?
It's raining iguanas in Florida. Yeah. All right, you guys want to give away some free stuff?
Yes.
All right, the first person to call 661-298-5487, 661-298-5487, or if you post us on Facebook Live, again, you got to be the first person with the correct answer, and you post us at KHTS Radio on Facebook, you will win a $25 gift card from Hanu Coffee, a $25 gift card from Hanu Coffee. This year's Super Bowl 54 will take place in Miami. When was the last time the game was played in the Los Angeles area? Was it 2019, 1993, 2003, or 1776? All right, be the first to call us at 661-298-5487, or you can post us at KHTS Radio on Facebook Live. The first person with the right answer wins a $25 gift card from Hanu Coffee. Again, the question, this year's Super Bowl 54 will take place in Miami. When was the last time the game was played in the Los Angeles area? And here are your choices: 2019, 1993, 2003, or 1776.
My headlines.
The City Council unanimously approved a resolution to urge Major League Baseball to strip 2017 and 2018 World Series titles from the Houston Astros and Boston Red Sox and awarding them to the Dodgers. The Astros were found guilty of using cameras to steal signs. The Red Sox are under investigation for the same claim, the accusation. LeBron James and Anthony Davis were named starters for next month's All-Star game in Chicago. LeBron celebrated with a triple-double in Brooklyn as the Lakers beat the Nets last night, 128-113. The Lakers are in Philly tomorrow night, 5:30 tip-off on Spectrum Sportsnet. On Wednesday, the Clippers blew a 21-point lead and lost to the Atlanta Hawks, 102-95. Kawhi Leonard rested. Paul George and Patrick Beverley were both out as well with a sore hamstring and a groin injury. Clippers are at Miami tonight, 5 p.m. tip-off on Fox Sports Prime Ticket. And Chargers quarterback Phillip Rivers has moved permanently from San Diego to Florida to be closer to his family. The free agent said, quote, "What this means football-wise is to be determined."
Friday Night Lights.
Hello and welcome to Friday Night Lights on my radio show with Rick Garcia. This is KHTS co-sports director Wyatt Smith. And this week, we hear from Saugus guards Nate Perez and Adrian McIntyre after their big win over Hart Tuesday night, 81-56. Perez came into the game on fire for the Centurions, going 4 for 4 to open the first quarter and helped Saugus jump out to an 11-0 lead early. He had another big quarter in the third to help solidify their lead and finished the night with a 20-point, 10-rebound double-double. Here's what Perez had to say about how he felt going into the game.
Yeah, I just woke up in the morning and I felt like it's going to be a good game today.
Teammate Adrian McIntyre had nothing but praise for the sophomore, as well as other members of the roster.
Nate's my guy. Like, whenever I'm not having a good game, he steps up really big time. You know, Nate's a young player. He's going to develop a lot more. So having guys like Nate and Kyle Santiago, Steven Tampers, like having those guys that are able to make plays as well, like it helps me out a lot.
McIntyre was no slouch himself against Hart that night as he racked up 31 points and 10 rebounds. He spoke about how his team's mentality changed after opening up league play with back-to-back losses.
Our mentality ever since the West Ranch game was like, we got to take every single game one at a time. And so every day we come out, we know it's a new day and we never know what's going to happen in the future. So if we win out the rest of the league, you never know what's going to happen.
Saugus now has another shot to take down league-leading Valencia, who have gone undefeated so far against their Foothill League opponents. In their last matchup, Valencia was able to hold on for a 62-59 win over the Centurions. Now the Vikings travel to Saugus High School with a chance to cement their hold on first place tonight at 6:30. Tonight's other Friday night matchups include West Ranch on the road against Canyon and Hart at home against Golden Valley. And that's this week's Friday Night Lights. Catch our segment each week on My Radio Show with Rick Garcia. And for all your Foothill League scores, recaps, and everything Santa Clarita sports, follow at KHTS Sports on Twitter, like our Facebook page, and go to hometownstation.com.
Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained?
In a Hollywood Minute.
In a Hollywood Minute, we did get a winner on our free stuff, so we'll tell you who that is in a minute. Rob Lowe catching a little flack for the generic cap that he wore at the NFC Championship game between Green Bay and San Francisco. You would think it wouldn't be a big deal. He wore a cap and it just said NFL.
Yeah. I saw that.
Like, pick a side. You're in San Francisco. Are you rooting for the 49ers? You're rooting for the Green Bay Packers. So a lot of fans are really giving him a hard time. The stars show up at the games. A lot of times they're given the seats by production companies. He's starring in a new show, 911 Lone Star. Rob Lowe, very talented actor. He happens to be an Indianapolis Colts fan.
Oh, interesting.
So just wear the hat.
Yeah, seriously.
It's okay. Nobody in San Francisco is going to get mad at you. It's the fact that you're there is a great thing, right?
Yeah.
So people giving him a hard time for wearing the NFL hat. What do you think? Jesse Chicken or doesn't matter?
It doesn't matter. It is kind of weird. Like, go football. That's basically what the hat is saying.
Go football.
That was good. I like that. Okay. You guys know about this ugly divorce between Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie, right?
Oh, yeah.
Correct.
Have you guys picked a side? Whose side are you on?
Brad.
I'll side with Jesse in this. I'm Team Brad.
Okay. Well, listen, in spite of the messy divorce, they own a French winery together called Chateau Miraval, and they're releasing a new wine from that winery. It's a rosé champagne, and they're hoping that even though the family's not sticking together, at least the winery will keep doing well. All right.
I guess.
Okay. Dr. Dolittle is bombing, apparently. This is a movie that took $175 million to make. It stars a terrific actor, Robert Downey Jr.
Love him.
He speaks to the animals. It's an old story that's has been redone. Its opening weekend domestically was only $30 million. They think the movie could lose $100 million.
That's crazy.
Oh.
I saw it was rated less than Cats on Rotten Tomatoes.
Oh, stop it. There's no way it could be
I
as
looked
bad
it
as
up.
Cats.
No
I
way.
did research.
As bad as Cat. No, I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying I don't think that's going to happen. There was an old series in the 70s, really popular from 1972 to 1975. That's a short run for what would be called a popular TV series, but the show was called Kung Fu, and it starred David Carradine, who in those days Bruce Lee was really hot in the Bruce Lee movies, which were subtitled. They were Chinese movies that were made and got so popular. What was really neat about this series, and only one of us three can remember it because only one of us three were here when it came out on this planet. It starred David Carradine. He's a white actor, and he's playing a Shaolin monk who comes back to America, and all he wants to do is spread goodness and happiness and warmth. But there's always these bad guy, and it was set in the Wild Wild West. They were always trying to pick on him and fight with him, and he always kicked their butts. He was because he knew Kung Fu. They're going to make a new movie now based on that series, and the guys behind it are some of the folks behind John Wick and Deadpool. So I think that's got some chance for success on that. Yeah, that could be good.
Yeah.
I liked it a lot because it was very believable, unlike a lot of the Bruce Lee Kung Fu movies where there's just one brawl after another.
Yeah.
There was a story. There was always a story, and he just got into jams sometimes in Kung Fu. So, all right, theaters this weekend, if you want to catch a flick, The Gentleman, which is rated R. It's an action comedy. It's an hour and 43 minutes. The cast is Matthew McConaughey, Charlie Hunnam, and Hugh Grant. It's an American expat who built a highly profitable marijuana empire in London. He's looking to cash out of his business forever, but it triggers an attempt to steal his domain out from under him. And then, Jesse, you don't know this about me. I'm a big fan of horror. I love
I did not
horror
know that.
flicks.
Yes, he is.
And this is The Turning. It's rated PG-13. It's an hour and 35 minutes. It's opening this weekend. The cast is Mackenzie Davis, Finn Wolfhard, which people know from Stranger Things.
Yeah.
And Jolie Richardson. The turning takes place on a mysterious estate in the Maine countryside where a newly appointed nanny is charged with the care of 2 disturbed orphans. She discovers that both the children and the house are harboring dark secrets.
No, thank you.
No, you're not. You guys are you bunch
gosh.
of chickens. Are you looking for something else to do this weekend?
Santa Clarita Nights.
Hometown. Things to do this weekend in the Santa Clarita Valley.
Your community station. It's Menji, and here's some things to do in our valley. Ray's Winery holds its hike and Saturday brunch. There's a woman's self-defense workshop presented by Senator Scott Wilk. It's the SCV Chamber of Commerce 97th Annual Awards and Installation Gala. It's the opening weekend of Matilda the Musical at the Canyon Theater Guild. And the Santa Clarita Encore Chorale is accepting new singers through February 7th. Did you know there's even more things to do in Santa Clarita when you head to hometownstation.com and sign up for our weekly newsletter? Your hometown station.
Jesse, you've heard that Patrick is very afraid of sharks, right?
Very.
And I get it. I understand how that works. But he seems like he's afraid of them all the time, not just when he's in the water.
I think we need to help him out.
So my brother listens to the show. He listens to my radio show in San Diego.
Yeah.
And we highly recommend you get the KHTS radio app. You can listen to us anywhere in the country. And so he sent me a story. And this is important, especially for you. He thought maybe I should share this with you, that scientists have discovered 4 new species of sharks that walk. Okay, now, yeah, Patrick, land sharks. I've been warning you about this for a long time, brother.
No.
These sharks apparently walk on their fins. I'm going to show you, Jesse, a picture. Take a look at that. That's what they look like. And so they walk. They have part of their fins are hard enough to actually lean on and walk on them. And what they do is they'll walk as close to the shore as they can to get some of the fish that don't swim in the deeper waters, that are more along the shoreline. And there's another one right there, Patrick.
Oh, yeah. Lord have
So
mercy.
when you walk out the studio here and as you cross the crosswalk, I'm just saying,
There could be a
beware.
shark.
Oh, no.
Beware. Do we have the Jaws music?
No.
We can play Baby Shark.
Baby Shark.
I don't know what's worse.
That's from the Phillies were doing. Was it the Phillies that were doing Baby? No, the Nationals.
I think it was the
Who was doing
Nats.
Baby Shark when one of the players would walk up to the plate?
Well, I don't know who it was.
Do you have something that scares you as much as he does with sharks?
Like, mine's kind of irrational.
Mine's irrational.
Never falling in love.
Aww.
I know, which is so sad, but nothing.
She's so romantic.
Yeah.
By the way, that's something I expect Patrick to say. I don't know.
Yeah, I want to switch fears. I'll be afraid of sharks.
I would gladly switch fears.
So you got sharks, and you're afraid of never falling in love.
Yeah, I don't know why.
Yeah.
It just is in the forefront of my mind always.
It's in the forefront of your. Well, we all know that you will fall in love someday.
I hope
and,
so.
and we all look forward to that. So we talked about movies. You said you are not interested in horror flicks. Is it because you get scared, or is there another reason for that?
Oh, terrified. Like, even at school and college, I was the target for when I walked through the door, somebody was jumping out at me. So I just have, like, a little bit of anxiety when it comes to things like that.
So people do. I had buddies that did that to me too. It's weird because I love scary movies.
Yeah.
And I like the emotion of being scared in that moment. In that moment, nobody likes to be like seriously scared, but from an entertaining standpoint, it's like a roller coaster ride.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's the anticipation and the jump scares and how that works. So that's why I like scary movies. But I also get that if you have to go home alone after watching a scary movie, it's probably not a good thing. I mean, for me, when I was a kid, it was The Exorcist.
Oh yeah.
And my sister would, and I still contend this is the scariest movie of all time, The Exorcist. That my sister would do the voice of the Linda Blair devil character, and she would pop out of the hallway in a dark hallway somewhere and do this voice, and it almost brought me to tears.
Jeez.
Yeah. It's like a walking shark. Patrick, gives you the same feeling. All right, coming up, a former Kansas City Chief joined us live earlier this hour. How I got through it, I'll never know. We're going to hear his Super Bowl prediction. Plus, should the Dodgers get Houston and Boston's recent World Series titles? You're listening to my radio show with Rick Garcia. My headlines brought to you by Frontier Toyota. The LA City Council unanimously approved a resolution to urge Major League Baseball to strip 2017 and 2018 World Series titles from the Houston Astros and Boston Red Sox and awarding them to the Dodgers. The Astros were found guilty of using cameras to steal signs. The Red Sox are under investigation for that same issue. LeBron James and Anthony Davis were named starters for next month's All-Star game in Chicago. LeBron celebrated with a triple-double in Brooklyn as the Lakers beat the Nets 128-113. The Lakers are in Philly tomorrow night, 5:30 tip-off on Spectrum Sportsnet. On Wednesday, the Clippers blew a 21-point lead and lost to the Atlanta Hawks 102-95. Kawhi Leonard rested. Paul George and Patrick Beverley were also out with a sore hamstring and groin injury. The Clippers are at Miami tonight. It's a 5 o'clock tip-off on Fox Sports Prime Ticket. Chargers quarterback Phillip Rivers has moved permanently from San Diego to Florida to be closer to his family. The free agent said, quote, "What this means football-wise is to be determined." Hey, Jesse. Hey, Patrick. How you guys doing?
Heyo.
Great.
You guys looking forward to the weekend?
Yes.
Anything exciting going on for you guys?
I mean, I'm going to be working.
Really?
I listen. I'm getting ramped up for Super Bowl.
Are you?
Yeah.
So you need a week and a half to get ready, do you?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right, we're going to dive into some of these headlines in a minute. We had a winner of our free stuff from last hour.
Yeah, you were talking about Facebook, and we have Cheryl from Canyon Country who posted on our Facebook Live to your question.
Oh, congratulations, Cheryl.
Yay, Cheryl. You asked, this year's Super Bowl 54 will take place in Miami. When was the last time the game was played in the Los Angeles area? Mm-hmm. And Cheryl got it right with 1993, the Rose Bowl Pasadena Super Bowl.
1993. I covered that Rose Bowl in Pasadena. Michael Jackson was the halftime entertainment.
Oh, no way.
Yeah,
Oh,
so
snap.
that was incredible.
So you're telling me it wasn't 17?
Yeah, that was it. It went downhill from there for that one.
Wait, you're telling me it wasn't 1776?
It was not. Well, it could have been. I may have covered that game too. I don't know. All right, we want to dive into some of these headlines here. You know, people still talking about the cheating going on in Major League Baseball. The Houston Astros were, they got into big trouble. They were fined. Their general manager, their manager, both fired because of the sign stealing scandal that involved illegal technology. That's what baseball called it. Basically, they were setting up cameras. They would try to read the catcher's signs, and then when one of their hitters would come up, Astros players in the dugout would take a trash can lid or just anything they could and bang it against the dugout trash can to kind of let the players know what pitch was coming. Right? Yeah. So Major League Baseball caught onto them. This took place during the 2017 season. And that was the year that the Astros beat the Dodgers in the World Series. The Boston Red Sox beat them in the World Series the following year. They are now under investigation, the Red Sox, for taking that sign stealing to a new level. Not only the cameras, but then setting up a video room where the players could go in during the game and try to see if they could decipher the signs that the opposition was using. They will probably get some sort of a fine, possibly. Well, we already know that their manager, Alex Cora, got fired.
Right.
And he, by the way, was the bench coach in Houston the year before. Yep. So we know that he's connected. And so the LA City Council unanimously approved a resolution on Tuesday of this week to strip the World Series championship from Houston and from the Red Sox and award the titles to the Dodgers. I am okay. I'm perfectly fine. Major League Baseball, by the way, is not going to do that.
Yeah.
But I'm okay. I think they should. I think both teams should be stripped of their titles for cheating. I don't care if they did it in the World Series or if they did it during the season. Yeah. Either way, it may have aided their road to the World Series. Right. So I'm okay with stripping their titles.
Yes.
But I think you should leave them vacant, and I don't think you should give them to the Dodgers. And the reason I say that is because there's no evidence, there's no proof that the Dodgers would have won the World Series anyway.
Exactly.
Right? You can't go back and say, well, if not for these particular moments, they would have won the series because maybe they wouldn't have anyway.
Yeah.
So I'm okay with the titles being vacant. What do you guys think?
I mean, obviously, I'm a diehard Dodgers fan, and I totally agree with you because sports are all about the little moments. And like what you said, we don't know the moments could have changed that led the Dodgers to win or lose or whatnot. Like the games could have ended up how they ended up regardless, which is unfortunate for my beloved team. But I agree with you.
I agree with that too. I think they should be stripped away because like that would make me feel a lot better. Like, yeah, no, that's what you get for cheating. You get it taken away. I don't care if they had the moment, like in the moment they were celebrating, you took it away. Like that's an asterisk on that. I don't like the fact that it's like, oh, just give it to the Dodgers. It's like that makes me feel hollow.
Yeah.
Like that's not even a victory. It's like that's almost like it's kind of like the whole like just complaining about like we should have won. Like
right.
I feel like that sinking feeling in your stomach. Like I don't like it.
Like we didn't earn it.
And I haven't seen a report where any of the Dodgers have said we should have won.
Yeah.
We earned it. And by the way, if I was playing in the Dodgers, I wouldn't want it handed to me either.
Exactly.
I would have wanted to earn it.
Exactly.
But I don't want them to have it either.
Exactly.
Because they cheated to get there. Now, we don't know if anybody else in Major League Baseball has
cheated,
set up similar rooms like that or set up cameras. That could come out.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I'm glad they were caught.
Mm-hmm.
I think players should have been
responsible,
banned.
Yep.
Whether it be temporarily or permanently from baseball.
Totally.
I think it's akin to. I mean, I think it's close to gambling.
Yep.
Where Pete Rose banned from the Hall of Fame because of his according to the reports from Major League Baseball, he gambled on his own team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm okay with a strict punishment. I don't think baseball went far enough.
No, they didn't.
In this case, but I also again don't think you should hand it to the Dodgers.
I agree. I think these are uncharted waters too. I don't think the MLB necessarily knows how to navigate this because it's new. This has never happened. So I think it's a good learning experience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now there are some questions about what lies ahead. The whistleblower in this whole sign stealing case is pitchers for the A's now. His name is Mike Fears, and he was playing for I think the Astros, and eventually went to other teams. And he said it's something to somebody, and when that was found out by Major League Baseball, then he told Major League Baseball, yeah, we had a system in place in Houston whereby this is how we got the other teams' signs. Now, people are wondering about retaliation.
Yeah.
Now, I will tell you, baseball pitchers have been tweeting out and saying on social media that they're so happy that the Astros and Red Sox get caught. Pitchers are not happy about this at all. They think this is ridiculous that, the odds are already stacked against them. They've got small strike zones to deal with. There's intense amount of pressure to try to get guys out as it is. And then you have the guy at the plate knowing what you're throwing and being able to hit the ball. So most pitchers seem to be okay with the fact that these teams got caught.
Yeah.
Baseball is notorious, though, for retaliating baseball players. You hit my player, I hit your player.
Oh, yeah.
That's kind of the unwritten rules of baseball. People are wondering if any time Mike Fears comes up against the Houston Astros. Now, he's in the American League, Fears, so he won't bat. But will other A's players, or any time Fears is on another team, will those players get hit by pitchers from the Houston Astros?
I think as an athlete, like that aggravation, it would be hard to not. But I think that the publicity side of it, I think the Astros are probably going to hound the players not to pull anything because they're already in such a bad and negative spotlight. So why do one more thing, like purposely hit another player? I don't know.
And by the way, they should be humble and have their tail between their legs.
Exactly.
And be groveling to all these other teams who know that they were cheating. They shouldn't be going after somebody. If anybody should be hitting anybody, and I'm not advocating, it should be pitchers on every team that the Astros or Red Sox face. Their guy should be getting plunked. Probably the catcher, because those guys call the signs and on the other team. Altuve's probably. I mean, you're right. Bregman. Some of these guys accused of maybe wearing other electronic surveillance equipment. I don't know if that's true or not. But
by the way, Rick, did you see like the interviews? Like I think it was last week where it was like Bregman and Altuve were interviewed about this thing. They did not sound apologetic at all. Right. They were like almost like, I don't like. They're just like completely sweeping it under the rug. Like they're just like, we're going to be back in the World Series. They're not even apologetic.
Yeah.
I'm like, are you kidding?
All I can think of, and I've said this before, I've said in shows past that I just wonder what other teams have been up to.
Yeah, no,
in terms of
I swear
cheating. I mean, you heard our guest the last hour, Dan Saleaumua, the former Kansas City Chiefs, who said one of their mantras was, "If you're not cheating, you're not trying." He just meant cheating in the sense. You're a soccer coach, Jesse. When we refer to cheating on the field, it's maybe how you open your stance. Cheating might be look at the other player. In football, if you see the offensive lineman and their feet are in a certain direction, as a defensive lineman, that tells you where they're going to run the football. If they set up another way, you say, they're gonna be in passing formation.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that kind of cheating, you're cheating in the sense that you're just trying to get an edge. You're not
it's
changing the rules.
Yeah.
It's intelligence a little bit with that. Yeah.
So
legal.
We'll see what happens. Another thing that's going to be possibly happening at a Major League Baseball park near you is those robot umpires. We keep hearing about automation in baseball. The idea, the prospect that balls and strikes will be called no longer by human beings, to take the human element out of it. Now, Major League Baseball wants to make it clear they're going to experiment during spring training this year.
Yeah.
Okay, so last season they experimented with one league, the independent league, I think it was. This year they're going to extend umpiring to spring training. What they want to do is they want to set up computer systems. And if you think about it, we see balls and strikes now with all the fancy graphics that the television networks do, where you can tell if it was a ball or a strike and if the umpire missed it. They're going to baseball will set up a series of computers similar to that system you see in television. The umpire wears an earpiece, and then the calls will come from the booth. The computer said it was a strike. The computer said it a ball. You tell the umpire on the field, he calls the strike, or he calls the ball. So the umpire is still going to be there. It's just that the balls and strikes will be dictated to him by computer, right?
I like that.
So we talked about this in the past, Jesse, that the prospect of having umpires behind the plate. What would Arnold Schwarzenegger, if he was the computerized umpire, how would he call balls and strikes?
Ball 1, strike, strike 2, strike 3, he's out of here.
That was really good.
That would be scary, wouldn't it? Right?
Yeah, that would be terrifying.
Now, if Major League Baseball was a little nervous that fans might get put off by that, what about Scooby-Doo? What if Scooby called, or Shaggy, whichever one you're...
I could do both.
Okay.
Like Scoob, I think that was a ball 1. Whoa, it's right 1, right 2, right 3. We're out of here. Ruby, Ruby, Roo. Zoinks.
Okay. Oh, I apologize, Jesse.
I'm learning so many fun things about Pat.
Yes. That's why he's here.
Thank you.
That's why he's here, to entertain me.
Yeah.
I'm his personal entertainment
Nobody
person.
else out there listening cares. He's here for me. Thank you, Patrick. Appreciate it. All right, last hour we talked about Super Bowl. It's a week from Sunday. Patrick says he needs a week and a half to prepare for the Super Bowl, even though his team is not in. The Kansas City Chiefs and the San Francisco 49ers go at it in Super Bowl 54. It will be in Miami. For those keeping track at home, the halftime entertainment, you guys remember? J-Lo and who else? Shakira.
Oh, Shakira.
Shakira and J-Lo will be the halftime entertainment in Miami. The Kansas City Chiefs, depending on where you find your odds, are a 1-point favorite. So it's almost a pick-em game. I think it's pretty even. I'm leaning toward the 49ers. I know the Chiefs are fantastic. I'm leaning toward the Niners. I like their defense a little bit better.
Yes.
But Andy Reid's a heck of a coach. Last hour,
Go back 2 weeks, Rick.
Can you start that from the top?
Yeah, I can.
Last hour, we talked to a dear friend of mine and former Kansas City Chief, Dan Saleaumua. He was a defensive tackle for the Chiefs and played 12 years in the NFL. And the few straight moments we had together, here's his Super Bowl prediction.
Go back 2 weeks, Rick, on both two teams, what Kansas City did. The one thing that I took away from both of those series was they have no fear. The Kansas City Chiefs had no fear. They were down 24-0. No panic. They were down 17-0. No panic. When you got a team playing like that, whatever, if San Francisco, because like I said, what was one of the topics was he's only thrown the ball 8 times, Garoppolo. Rick, what happens when the Chiefs get on top? Because if Garoppolo gets down, let's just say 17-0, and they did all that in the first quarter. What do you do now? Oh, yeah, pin your ears back, Rick. Pin your ears back. They got a great defense. Okay.
All right.
So did the other two teams.
All right, so not surprising, a former Chief's going to go with the Chiefs, but
Right.
I do believe he's being objective, and he believes. I just think that the rush of the 49ers, and I know that Mahomes has a reputation for getting rid of the ball fast. I'm just leaning toward the Niners, but again, you can flip a coin on this game.
Yeah.
I mean, last week I thought the Packers were going to have an upset, and obviously that was incorrect.
Yeah.
But I think the Chiefs, because I think that they haven't been, this is the first time in like 50 years?
Yeah.
So I think the fact that their city is really rooting for them and supporting them and encouraging them, and of course, like, San Diego would be too, but I don't know. I think the Chiefs have it just with all the support.
Well,
I think so too. I'm with the Chiefs, and Patty Mahomes not only can he, throw, he's dynamic. He can run too.
Great quarterback.
San Francisco has a lot of really tough time handling mobile quarterbers. Russell Wilson and Lamar Jackson being two of them.
Everybody does.
True.
But everybody is capable of constructing a game plan.
That's true.
With 2 weeks to game plan for a team, again, the Chiefs really don't run.
No,
so if you're going to play pass the whole time, which the 49ers will do, and they'll probably have extra defensive backs in the secondary, I think that may allow them time that Nick Bosa or somebody else gets to Patrick Mahomes.
It could be.
All right, well, we'll see what happens on that. Here's I know the Chargers fans they got to be a wreck right now.
Yeah.
You have to be torn when you have a quarterback like Phillip Rivers, who's been in the organization his whole career. He's an amazing quarterback, but you see him at the end of the road. They don't have anybody waiting in the wings, in my opinion. Phillip Rivers has just uprooted. He's moved his family from San Diego to Florida. It's a permanent location now. And here, let me read his quote. He said, "What this means football-wise is to be determined, but it was time for us to move back closer to home." He's a Southern boy. They're going to move back to Florida. I don't think he's coming back to the Los Angeles Chargers.
I don't think so either.
Why do you say that?
I just think that the way he's looked, last season was a tough season for him.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that they want him back. And I think the best moves that teams make, and the Patriots are excellent at this, is getting rid of guys early, getting rid of a player early rather than getting rid of them late.
Mm-hmm.
If they keep him for another 3 years and hope they get another young quarterback, that's a lot of money that's tied up into one guy. And so I have an interesting theory. Brady, we talked about Tom Brady moving last weekend away, a little further away from where the Patriots play. What if they swapped roles? What if Rivers wound up in New England and Brady winds up in San Diego? Or Los Angeles, I should say.
I don't know how I feel about that.
It is weird. It's like sacrilegious almost.
Yeah. Could you imagine Brady being down here? Would LA fans be able to root for him?
Oh, God, I don't even know.
I don't think so. Yeah. I think we're snobby about sports, and since the Patriots are such an iconic winning team.
And Tommy, yeah.
I think we would struggle to root for him here.
Let me read Tom Brady's recent quote. He says, "I'm open-minded about the process," end quote.
Oh.
Do you think I don't think he's jockeying for more money, because this is one of the more generous pro athletes. And remember, I'm not a Patriots fan. I have ridiculous respect for Tom Brady.
Yeah.
He is the GOAT. He surpassed, Joe Montana. But countless times he's renegotiated his contracts so that he could free up more money for his football teams.
Right.
Ridiculously generous where that's concerned. I think he still wants to play. Mm-hmm. The Patriots are unsure whether they want to hang on to him. And so I think he's like, all right, let me see what else is out there.
Ooh.
If he jumps over to the Chargers, who have a really good defense, and he's probably going to be the offensive coordinator, so it doesn't matter who the offensive coordinator is, and they just build some guys around him, maybe that helps the Chargers. I don't know.
It could.
Yeah.
It could. They do have offensive weapons. They have a couple receivers, Melvin Gordon.
Yeah.
And Hunter Henry.
He's not going to, by the way, those would be better receivers than he's ever had, except for Randy Moss.
Exactly, yeah.
Edelman, too. But, I mean, generally speaking,
and then Gronk,
you can't name most of his receivers over his career, right? He's made them better.
Yeah.
He's not going to go to Jacksonville or someplace like that, right, where they're rebuilding or they're a horrible team.
Well, they also have Gardner Minshew.
Yes, Gardner Minshew III. So, I mean, I don't know. Brady in L.A., Phillip Rivers in New England.
I don't know. That's weird, yeah. I personally think Phillip Rivers is going somewhere in Florida since he's moving out there.
Okay, so Miami Dolphins, there's a spot right there.
Or Tampa Bay, the Buccaneers.
Yeah, Tampa Bay with Bruce Arians.
I mean, Bruce Arians really likes him.
That's a great call.
That's a good one.
Wow. Yeah. All right. We've decided where everybody's going.
Done deal.
Done.
You're welcome, NFL.
All right. Coming up, if you want Carson Wentz's Dodge Demon, what you're going to need to shell out for that. Plus, scientists' thoughts on how to make the best cup of coffee. Ooh. And we're giving away more free stuff. You're listening to my radio show with Rick Garcia. So LeBron now has 33,626 points. He's 17 points behind Kobe Bryant for third place on the NBA's career scoring list. The Lakers also had a season-high 19 three-pointers. They beat the Nets 128-113. LeBron talking about his milestone.
I've really never had a mentality when approaching a milestone. I've just kind of played my game, and they've come organically. But anytime I'm mentioned with the greats, this year I've been linked with Michael Jordan, with Isaiah Thomas in the assist record, and now being mentioned with Kobe Bryant, guys that I looked up to. Kobe for sure I looked up to. He's one of the guys that went straight to the NBA from high school, so that was inspiration alone. And now to be in the same uniform that he wore for 20 years, it's such a surreal feeling.
News to me.
We have any car people in here? You guys car people?
I mean, I have a car.
Okay, thank you, Patrick. Thank you, Captain Obvious. Anybody else?
I love cars.
Do you? Okay, you're a car person.
Yeah.
Jade, how about you?
My dad used to race cars.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
But are you into them personally?
I enjoy them.
Yeah, I'm just okay. Okay. I mean, I love my car, but I got it for more principle than anything else. So it's an electric car. So I just like what it means and how it, how we can help society by doing that sort of stuff. But if you like muscle cars that guzzle gas, you can buy Carson Wentz's custom Dodge Challenger. It's an SRT Demon. It's a 2018 for $149,000. Huh? What do you think?
That's pretty cheap, I feel like.
Is it? Do you? You can. Well, then maybe you should buy it, Jesse. Part of the money, by the way, that they raise on selling this car is going to go to Wentz's foundation. So that's kind of cool. That's a neat thing. So if you like muscle cars and you like them Eagles green, because they're colors of the Philadelphia Eagles, there you go. This might break a lot of hearts out here. There's been such an uproar over Harry and Meghan and what them leaving the kingdom means to Great Britain and royal fans all over the place. It is at such an effect on Great Britain that merchandise sales featuring the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, as they were known royally, are being sold at discount prices now. So mugs that used to be $10 are now $5.
Oh,
right?
My.
$5. So I was trying to imagine the prospect and maybe the family argument that would go on between Prince Harry and Duchess Meghan. Now let's assume that Duchess Meghan had been in Great Britain for a number of years, so that she finally she absorbed a British accent, right? So she became more British. Remember Madonna moved? She married the director from Great Britain and moved out there, and then and then eventually she started having a miraculous British accent. So here's the Duke and Duchess of Sussex. Prince Harry, what do you think? We want to let you know, Governor, that your mugs have dropped from $10 a mug to $5.
Oh, Megan, what's this then, love? What are the mugs discounted then?
Well, personally, I think I've got enough money set aside for my previous time on Suits. I think we could do quite well in Canada.
Canada, you say? I mean, we're going to go over to those limey, the maple trees?
Well, I quite enjoy the maple trees, but you really got to look out for the moose.
The moose, those things are the things with the big ears, right?
Okay. All right, so you get the idea, ladies and gentlemen. Not all sketches work. We did not rehearse, but do you have the applause ready? Ladies and gentlemen, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex. Yeah, that was great.
Okay. Truly riveting. Thank you for having us on here.
Yes, thank you. So as portrayed by Patrick Suika and Jade Abushan. All right, I can't wait for the understudies. All right, thanks, guys. You want to know how to make the greatest cup of coffee? We've been doing it wrong for a long time. Are you any coffee drinkers? You guys are.
I drink coffee.
It's in my veins.
To your veins. See, I'm not a big coffee drinker. I got into the habit a little bit when I was anchoring an early morning show at CBS, and I was waking up at 2:30 in the morning, for a 4:30 show. And even then, I was trying to be careful about caffeine because I really wanted to sleep at night. You can't stay awake. You can't have insomnia and do that shift. So I would do the decaf, or maybe do a half a cup of caffeinated coffee, and then the rest would be decaf. So scientists have been exploring. In fact, a computational chemist at the University of Oregon has found out that a lot of people who like to grind their coffee in the grinder use too many grounds, too much coffee. And what they're saying is that normally to grind coffee for an espresso shot, for example, the ideal scenario is to ground around 20 grams of coffee as finely as possible. Scientists say that you got to reduce that by a quarter. So however much coffee, if you like it the old-fashioned way now, at my house, my wife does the pods. It's a lot easier, right?
Yeah.
And I think you're going to find coffee companies will do that. They're going to cut back on probably the grounds that or the grinds, depending on tomato or tomato, that you put in your coffee. They claim that it'll make your coffee taste better. You're going to try it?
A pro is you'd be spending less money on coffee, but a con is I feel like it wouldn't be as strong. So I'm gonna have to do some experimenting myself this week.
Yeah. I mean, I'll try just to try it. My sister actually is more of a connoisseur when it comes to coffee, since she's a barista at Starbucks. So she would
She's
know.
A
maybe she knows, right? They grind their coffee there.
Yeah.
Okay.
So she would definitely know on that.
Now, for the coffee industry, that's good. I mean, because it'll be less expensive for them. I don't think we're going to get discounts, though. I think their profit margin will increase, though, based on this news. So there you have it. You learn something new on this show every day.
Learn something new.
Let's give away some free stuff.
Free stuff.
The first person to call 661-298-5487 or message us on Facebook Live at KHTS Radio with the right answer to my question will win a dozen bagels from Western Bagel. Super Bowl 54 is a week from Sunday in Miami. Including this year, which city has hosted the most Super Bowls? The Los Angeles metro area, New Orleans, Miami metro area, or Rancho Cucamonga? The first person to call 661-298-5487 or post us on Facebook Live at KHTS Radio with the right answer wins a dozen bagels from Western Bagel. Super Bowl 54 is a week from Sunday. It's in Miami, including this Super Bowl coming up a week from Sunday. Which city has hosted the most Super Bowls? Los Angeles Metro, New Orleans, Miami Metro, or Rancho Cucamonga? Good luck. Coming up, the Material Girl is playing hurt while she has been canceling concerts. Plus, a Big Bang Theory actor was on fire and didn't even know it. You're listening to My Radio Show with Rick Garcia.
My headlines.
Did I do these yet?
The headlines?
I did not.
No.
All right, my headlines. No, they're brought to you by Frontier Toyota. The LA City Council unanimously approved a resolution to urge Major League Baseball to strip 2017 and 2018 World Series titles from the Houston Astros and Boston Red Sox and awarding them to the Dodgers. The Astros were found guilty of using cameras to steal signs. The Red Sox are under investigation for that same claim. LeBron James and Anthony Davis were named starters for next month's All-Star game in Chicago. LeBron celebrated with a triple-double in Brooklyn as the Lakers beat the Nets 128-113. The Lakers are in Philly tomorrow night, 5:30 tip-off on Spectrum Sportsnet. On Wednesday, the Clippers blew a 21-point lead and lost to the Atlanta Hawks 102-95. Kawhi Leonard rested. Paul George and Patrick Beverley were out with a sore hamstring and groin injury. Clippers are at Miami tonight. 5 p.m. tip-off on Fox Sports Prime Ticket. Chargers quarterback Phillip Rivers has moved permanently from San Diego to Florida to be closer to his family. The free agent said, quote, "What this means football-wise is to be determined." We had another winner of our...
Yes.
Good.
Just a little bit ago, you asked a question about, including this year, which city has hosted the most Super Bowls, and Scott from Santa Clarita got the correct answer, saying that Miami metro area had the most Super Bowls.
That's right. How many?
11.
11. You know who's second, by the way? I didn't write this down, but second, and I had to cover a couple there.
Second.
Let's see. I'll give you a little hint.
New England area?
What'd you say?
New England area?
I was going to say New York.
No, you guys have got half of that.
New
right?
Orleans?
New Orleans.
Oh, that was
New Orleans is second with 10, I believe. Right?
Oh, wow.
And LA would have a lot more, but we didn't have a team for 25 years.
I mean, you're right.
And I think we get one in 2022, which is going to be in the new stadium.
Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained?
In a Hollywood Minute.
Yeah, somebody's not dancing. That would be Madonna. She canceled her. She had to cancel a Madam X tour date with just 45 minutes notice. So imagine you're getting ready to go to a concert and you get an email. I mean, these days at least you can warn people. You know, in the old days they drove for gosh knows how long to get to an arena to watch somebody perform. But an email was sent to ticket holders at one of her tour stops in Lisbon. And it was at 7:45 p.m. She was going to be on stage at 8:30. And it said, quote, "We regret to inform you that Madonna is unable to perform this evening. She has had to cancel a couple of dates on her tour. It was the 8th, in fact, on this current tour that she's had to cancel. In November, she was ordered by doctors to cancel three dates in Boston due to overwhelming pain. Now, she personally has not talked about what the pain issues are caused by.
Yeah.
She's 61 years old, though, I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
Dances, I mean, she's an entertainer more than a singer, right? She would probably take issue with that. But I think of her more as an entertainer than a vocalist. And there are apparently there's a report that said that she was suffering from a torn ligament in one of her knees.
Oh, Lord.
Oh, that's got to be painful. I mean, I've strained ligaments. It's much worse than a break in terms of pain as far as I'm concerned. But this happens a lot to entertainers. Lady Gaga, Prince. We hear a lot about pain on tour, and people like Madonna, who dances a lot.
Yeah.
Why do you think they suffer so much pain? Is it like a sport?
For sure. I think
Probably.
it's so demanding. And you have to put on a show every single night as if it's the first time you've done it, and that's a lot for the body to take.
Yeah. And at 61, I mean, she's still going strong. Love her or hate her music, she at one point revolutionized dance music in the 80s, and she's still touring. A lot of people like to see her show.
Yeah.
All right, you can fade it.
All right, fading into existence.
Imagine you're a celebrity, right? And this happened to Kaylee Cuoco from Big Bang Theory, right? She's sitting at a restaurant, and in fact, she's at a restaurant in Italy. She's 34 years old now. She's sitting actually in a bar in Rome, sitting with her girlfriends. They're all chatting, having a good time. She looks across the table at her girlfriend. Her girlfriend's eyes just get gigantic, like beach balls, like something. She hears this rustling behind her, and she turns around and sees some guy running at her, and she's thinking, "Oh my gosh, I'm getting attacked by a fan."
Oh,
I mean, wouldn't that scare you, right?
Yeah.
So she's thinking, this is nuts, and she hears somebody, screaming, "Fuoco," and her name is Cuoco. So she thinks it's about her, the fans coming at her. It turns out her hair was on fire. She got too close to a candle, and her hair caught fire. Oh. So there was a guy running at her. He was trying to put her hair out.
Oh, my gosh.
Oh, my
Now, she's laughing about it now. That is the Italian word for fire. And she laughs about it now because she was saying, I was being narcissistic. I thought, there's a fan coming after me. The guy was trying to save her life. And her friends were reacting from the table because they couldn't believe that her hair was on fire.
She was lit.
She was
lit.
Thank
she
you.
was lit.
Thank
oh,
you.
No.
I'm here for another 12 minutes.
The kids and their social media these days.
Shame.
Those darn kids.
Darn kids. All right, here's a story I had to bring up because I know you guys are both Star Wars fans, right?
Yes.
I look to the site Rotten Tomatoes a lot if I want to see a movie.
Yeah.
I've never paid much attention to critics, because that's their job is to criticize movies, and they're in business because they're controversial sometimes, and I love movies, and I view movies as from an entertainment standpoint. I'm not getting too deep into the weeds when it comes to a movie. I just want to let you know if I've been entertained. So when we share movies that we like a lot, we'll talk about what I like or what you like. It doesn't matter. But if I want to get an opinion from somebody else, now think about it. You probably have friends who tell you they like something, and you know who your friends are who you don't agree with on stuff.
Totally.
You're just not going to see what they see, right?
Yep.
And you have the other ones like when they recommend something, ooh, I got to watch that. So Rotten Tomatoes is a site I go to, and the reason I like it is they have the critics' reviews, and they do the math on that. Then they have viewers, the audience's reviews, and they mix them together and they come up with a number. If you see a Rotten Tomatoes review that's in the 80s, that's pretty darn good. If they're in the 90s, that's really good because that means the critics liked it and the audience liked it. So that's what I base things on. The reviews. This is the Star Wars: Rise of Skywalker. Had the lowest review number of any of the Star Wars films. Can you believe that? 52% positive reviews.
Really?
Oh.
Wow.
Isn't that weird?
That's weird.
Now, it's weird because I loved it. You guys liked it too.
I liked
right?
it too, yeah.
Not nearly as bad as those three in the middle.
The ones that won't even be named.
But here's why I got the bad reviews. Because the critics. The audience loved it, but the critics were really soft on it.
Yeah.
How did you compare it to the other Because you're a big Star Wars fan.
Yeah.
Right? Huh?
Well, I compared it. I thought it was the best of the new trilogy. I thought it was the best.
Did you? Okay.
Because and going off of like the critics too. Remember Last Jedi? The critics drew rave reviews for it. Was like giving it like 90s and like A+. And then everyone else, like us audience fans, were like, "No, this is boo boo. This is bad."
Which one?
Last Jedi, the one before Rise of Skywalker, the second one, or the episode 8. It was like the same thing. Now it's like, okay, the critics hate it, but we all love it. But I think this is the best of the new trilogy. Still doesn't hold a candle to the 4, 5, and 6.
Okay,
the originals.
so the originals, which were done first, we get confused because everything was out of order the way they were produced. But 4, 5, and 6, which were actually 1, 2, and 3, in terms of when they were released, are wonderful. But I liked, of the newest trilogy, I liked the first one. I can't remember the name of it. But
Force Awakens.
The Force Awakens. I really like that one a lot. This would be my second favorite among the new trilogy.
That's
and the last one, which I know a lot of people didn't like the Rian Johnson version. He's caught criticism for that. A lot of people did like it.
Yeah. Well, and then going back to what Patty was talking about, sometimes it just makes me wonder, like, who these critics are.
Seriously.
Like, me as the average person, I feel like I could go critique a movie.
I know, but you know what they base it on? Some of these folks are former screenwriters or, film professors who, have lots of experience. So they break everything down, X's and O's. And I think sometimes they lose sight of the fact that at the end of the day, it's not all about the minutia. It's about, did people walk out of there happy and with the product?
Yeah.
So the critiquing is more from making a film standpoint and less about did you like it. So that's what you have to remember. That's why critics' reviews are not something that you always have to pay attention to. I mean, this one again, people were kind of ripping the last one, and I think those were mostly Star Wars fans. This one, and I loved Adam Driver in these 3 movies.
He was good, yeah.
Who's the Daisy?
Daisy Ridley.
Ridley, and I just think it's a great cast.
Yeah, I thought it was fine.
It's done now, right?
Yeah, it's done now. Well, that trilogy.
Except for all the spin-offs. Disney paid a lot of money for this franchise.
I'm curious. Yeah,
they're going to be a lot more spin-offs.
Yes,
we'll see what happens. In theaters now, The Gentleman, which is rated R. It's an action comedy. It's an hour and 43 minutes. The cast on this is Matthew McConaughey, Charlie Hunnam, Hugh Grant, an American expat who built a highly profitable marijuana empire in London, is looking to cash out of the business forever, but it triggers an attempt to steal his domain out from under him. And then The Turning, which is a horror flick, and Jesse's not going to see that one.
Nope.
It's rated PG-13. It's an hour and 35 minutes. The cast is Mackenzie Davis. Who's Mackenzie Davis? Does that ring a bell to you guys?
Doesn't ring a bell to me.
Finn Wolfhard is in it. He's in Stranger Things. And Jolie Richardson. The Turning takes place on a mysterious estate in the Maine countryside where a newly appointed nanny is charged with the care of 2 disturbed orphans that she discovers that both the children and the house are harboring dark secrets. Do you guys, what scares you? Let's talk about in a movie.
Okay, in a movie.
What we know about sharks with you.
What
scares you most in a movie? I'll start with me because my wife gets a kick out of this. Evil, scary women characters. In other words, like The Exorcist, Linda Blair's devil character. Any like the Grudge flicks or The Rings, where you see those scary women coming out of the darkness, and they're that scares me more than the Jasons or the Michael Myers. I always feel like I can fight back against it like a dude, But if it's a woman, you're like, I don't know what to do, and it's just frightening. What?
Mine's
Jesse?
like paranormal stuff, like ghosts and where people bend over backwards and
that's kind of the Grudge and Ring stuff. Yeah.
Well, like I like that stuff. Like that creeps me out. I like the demons and Grudge and like just ghost stuff. That stuff creeps me out. I don't like, if you're talking like scare and like I don't like the gore, Saw, like monster, like
the slice and dice.
I don't like slice and dice. Like that's just it's too much, and it's like I don't enjoy it. It's scary because it's like oh god.
Yeah, I used to love that genre. I like that a little less, although there's still some pretty good scary movies out there that are slice and dice, and I have to admit, guilty pleasure. All right, if you don't want to go to the movies, you want to do something else?
Santa Clarita Nights.
Hometown. Things to do this weekend in the Santa Clarita Valley.
Your community station.
It's Menji, and here's some things to do in our valley. Ray's Winery holds its hike and Saturday brunch. There's a women's self-defense workshop presented by Senator Scott Wilk. It's the SCV Chamber of Commerce 97th Annual Awards and Installation Gala. It's the opening weekend of Matilda the Musical at the Canyon Theater Guild. And the Santa Clarita Encore Chorale is accepting new singers through February 7th. Did you know there's even more things to do in Santa Clarita when you head to hometownstation.com and sign up for our weekly newsletter?
Your hometown station.
Friday Night Lights.
Hello and welcome to Friday Night Lights on my radio show with Rick Garcia. This is KHTS co-sports director Wyatt Smith, and this week we hear from Saugus guards Nate Perez and Adrian McIntyre after their big win over Hart Tuesday night, 81-56. Perez came into the game on fire for the Centurions, going 4 for 4 to open the first quarter and helped Saugus jump out to an 11-0 lead early. He had another big quarter in the third to help solidify their lead and finished the night with a 20-point, 10-rebound double-double. Here's what Perez had to say about how he felt going into the game.
Yeah, I just woke up in the morning and felt like it's going to be a good game today.
Teammate Adrian McIntyre had nothing but praise for the sophomore, as well as other members of the roster.
Nate's my guy. Like, whenever I'm not having a good game, he steps up really big time. You know, Nate's a young player. He's going to develop a lot more. So having guys like Nate and Kyle Santiago, Steven Tampers, like having those guys that are able to make plays as well, like it helps me out a lot.
McIntyre was no slouch himself against Hart that night as he racked up 31 points and 10 rebounds. He spoke about how his team's mentality changed after opening up league play with back-to-back losses.
Our mentality ever since the West Ranch game was like, we got to take every single game one at a time. And so every day we come out, we know it's a new day and we never know what's going to happen in the future. So if we win out the rest of the league, you never know what's going to happen.
Saugus now has another shot to take down league-leading Valencia, who have gone undefeated so far against their Foothill League opponents. In their last matchup, Valencia was able to hold on for a 62-59 win over the Centurions. Now the Vikings travel to Saugus High School with a chance to cement their hold on first place tonight at 6:30. Tonight's other Friday night matchups include West Ranch on the road against Canyon and Hart at home against Golden Valley. And that's this week's Friday Night Lights. Catch our segment each week on my radio show with Rick Garcia. And for all your Foothill League scores, recaps, and everything Santa Clarita sports, follow at KHTS Sports on Twitter, like our Facebook page, and go to hometownstation.com.
So, watch local sports. It's a lot cheaper than if you go to the Super Bowl, right? The Super Bowl tickets are said to be nearing $9,000.
Wow.
Would you pay that? My Rams were in the Super Bowl last year. I thought about going to the Super Bowl because as a Rams season ticket holder, they offered me the chance to buy them. Mm-hmm. And they were, at the time I was looking at it, they're like $4,000 a ticket. I just thought, it's not going to be worth it. So I was cheap. I was cheapo.
Yeah.
At this point in my life, no, but when I get older and have some more money, for sure.
Oh, absolutely.
Totally.
Yeah.
Great.
Not right now.
You and I are going to a game together, Jesse.
There we go.
All right. Well, we'd like to say thanks to our guest, Dan Saleaumua, former Kansas City Chief, who predicted the Chiefs will win the Super Bowl. Thank you, Jesse Holland, for hanging out with us again.
Thank
we
you
appreciate
for having
that.
me.
Patrick Suica, well, I'm kind of stuck with you, aren't I?
Apparently, sir.
Yeah. Aaron De La Torre is going to be with you on your ride home today. He's going to have some great music for you. Thanks for hanging with us on my radio show with Rick Garcia. And we'll see you again next Friday, 1 to 3 p.m. Have a great weekend.